Hard work and pain tolerance. So hard work is something we can all agree on. Everyone agrees that we should be working hard in the gym. However, pain tolerance is something that varies dramatically over the population. And so our objective standards of what is hard work is subjectively affected by our own pain tolerance. And that is really what the purpose is of this video, to explore that. Before we go on, thank you for joining me in the video. I am Faz from Fazlifts. Do make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell notification if you have already subscribed. And if you would like assistance with reaching your own physique and strength goals, there is a link in the description. Get in touch. So going back to the main topic of today, we're talking about hard work and pain tolerance. And this idea that our ability to withstand pain is something which is very subjective. It's very much based on our own inner experience of what we feel and how much we can push through. Now, objectively, what is the result of that can be massively different. So whereas a whole group of people could be just high-fiving each other, celebrating hard work, the actual reality of what they achieve and what they do can be vastly different, because the personal experience of what pain is varies massively. And that is one of the reasons why just doing videos where you celebrate hard work, is that actually helping anyone? I would argue no, because the guys who think they're working hard, no matter what they're actually doing, they're already going to agree. They're going to be like, yep, great. Hard work is good. Faz says work hard. I'm working hard. Therefore, fine. Even if they've not made significant progress, if they think they're working hard, despite what level of effort they're actually putting out of the gym, they're still going to be sat there thinking, yes, I agree with Faz. Hard work is good. Fantastic. So it doesn't help them. And for those guys who are sat there thinking, yeah, I could work a bit harder, they already know they can work a bit harder. So what possible benefit is a video saying you need to work harder going to do for them? They already know that. So these types of videos do nothing but just expand the echo chamber, which is YouTube tribal fitness communities. It's not helpful. And as much as I would like that, as much as I would like to expand my own following, have more of you guys come to my videos, feel good about yourselves, like, yes, we're all working hard, all of Faz's viewers, we're all working hard. Yeah, that's all well and good. And it's good for me because you guys like my videos, we can all just be in this nice echo chamber, but it's not productive, it's not useful. And as much as I would like that, what I would like even more is to help you, so you actually achieve things in reality and not just feel good about yourselves on the internet, because there's no point in that. It's like a temporary dopamine rush to say, yes, Faz agrees with me. A temporary dopamine rush, which means nothing. So this video, I want to challenge you. That's the purpose of this video. I'm going to challenge you in terms of working harder. And that's the goal. I think we should all aim to actively try to level up our hard work. And that is really what this video is about. So I want to give you a bit of background. I've been fortunate to work with a bunch of people over the course of an almost decade-long coaching career. I'm going to give you an example analogy, and let's just talk about this imaginary person. Let's say you've got a young lad grown up in a very academically minded household. That's his parents' focus. Parents have always pushed him for academia. 2 or 3 hours after every school night, he's studying, rarely plays sports because he doesn't really have time, does PE at school, but doesn't really take it that seriously. And his parents aren't that bothered because academia is their main focus. They want him to be an engineer or work in IT or something like that, right? So come weekends, he's worked really hard. His mum says, sit down, let me make you some popcorn, watch this film, don't stress yourself out. Then afterwards, you can go and do some more homework. So school life is fantastic, straight A's. And then he goes and works in IT, works in engineering, has a very sedentary job, works in front of a desk on a computer, very much like this one. Now, for a guy like that, let's say he hits 25 and he thinks to himself, I'm going to give this lifting thing a bit of a try. And he's never been physically active his entire life. And he approaches the gym on day one, tries to work out, promptly throws up halfway through the session because this is the most he's physically exerted himself in his entire life. He thinks that's amazingly hard work. Now, on the outside looking in, we might be looking at this guy, not judging him because that's not cool. We might be looking at this guy thinking to ourselves, he had 8 reps in the tank and he's over there throwing his guts out because for him that was hard work. So that is a very extreme example, but it shows the point. Pain tolerance will vastly affect how hard you actually work. Your own perceived level of how much pain you can tolerate will determine how hard you actually work. So what could be a self-reported maximum set for you may well be different from the next guy. And that's the point of this video. That is also why videos which just extol the benefits of hard work don't actually help anyone. Because again, it's all very subjective. So this video, I'm going to be challenging you and talking you through how and why you should be actively trying to push yourself to work harder and level up your effort, so you can take those leveling up sessions and apply those to everything so that you can continue to work harder and harder and continue to level up. I specifically recall times in my early training life where I leveled up. I remember the first time I squatted 3.5 plates aside. That was a horrific rep. I recorded that video and I was actually stalled in the sticking point for what was about 5 seconds. Now that was a horrific rep, but I loved it because after that rep, I realized I've just found a new gear. I can apply this to all the rest of my lifts, which can mean even more gains, because halfway through that set, I could have given up, but I decided to stay with it. Because I decided to stay with it, I got the rep. Something's clicked. I've realized if I just pushed it that little bit longer, I'll get it. And for some of you, that may well mean trying a rep on a set where you thought you were done. So I went for 5. I didn't want to do any more because I knew I was going to fail. But did you try it though? No, I didn't. How do you know? So this video is all about trying that little bit extra. So just to wrap up that first section, pain, your own pain tolerance, your own sensitivity to how much pain you can withstand is a very subjective matter. So there is no point all of us just running around high-fiving each other saying, yay, hard work's great, because our own objective output may well be very different because we subjectively experience pain very differently from the next person. So the goal isn't just to do what we consider to be working hard, but actually the goal should be to level up every time we get in the gym. Even somebody like me who has a track record of working hard because I've had results, like I can quite confidently say with a good degree of legitimacy that, you know, I work hard. And people would nod their head to go, yeah, fair enough. Actually, he's had results. He's gotten very strong. He's gotten pretty big. Okay, I get it. But even me, I need to be in the gym trying to find ways to work harder, because if not, I can slack off. It doesn't benefit me to sit here and going, I work harder than everyone else. It doesn't benefit me at all. It benefits me to actively think to myself, every time I go in the gym, I need to work harder. I don't think I'm the perfect lifter by any means. And quite frankly, for you guys who are older, there's no stopping, because as soon as you've got the answers, your body changes the questions. So there's no standing still. You stand still and you get older and you start to decline. So there is never a standing still. There is never thinking, I've got all the answers. You have to continuously strive to do better. And that goes for everyone. And especially true for those of you who haven't really got off the starting blocks yet. You must find ways to work harder. So let's move on to the next topic. How does pain and pain tolerance actually affect your workout while you're training? Because there's multiple ways, right? I think one of the first ways is the obvious way. Pain tolerance will affect how many reps you do when it starts to get hard. So when the reps start to slow down, there will be a high degree of variance in how deep people dig. Now, with some of my training where the bar slows down probably for the last maybe 4 or 5 reps. Now that's a fairly dramatic time in the end zone. Whereas I've seen some people, the bar slows down for 1 rep and they rack it. And that's their hard work. So again, subjective feelings versus objective outputs. So one of the ways we know how pain affects people in a session is how far do they dig into that end zone of pain where the reps do slow down and things just start to get a bit chaotic. That's the first thing. Second thing I think is rep drop-offs. How far do people's reps drop off, or do they drop off at all? So if you do a set of 8 and you say that was a hard set, I trained to failure, and then you replicate that set of 8 3 minutes later, and then another set of 8 3 minutes later, you cannot realistically say that those first 2 sets were as hard as the last set. It doesn't logically work. I don't care how good your recovery is. Nobody replicates set after set after set with 2 or 3 minutes intervals with the same weight. It doesn't happen. Yet I've had people try and argue that point with me, but I'm sorry, you're wrong, because no one can. If you actually worked hard in the first and second set, your reps would have dropped off. So that's another way you can understand this. And I think the last way is your actual pain tolerance due to insufficient activity in previous life. So there's a certain amount of pain you can withstand. And if you have no prior physical endeavors, like I played a lot of soccer when I was younger, a lot of football, 3 hours a night, 5 days a week, I would play football with my friends for most of my teenage years. That helped my physical output. So the point where I did start to train, I was at least able to physically exert myself and understand what hard work feels like, understand the burning of the lungs, the burning of the muscles, the pain, the lactic acid. I could understand all that because I'd experienced that on the football pitch. I think with some people, there is a lowered pain tolerance due to a lack of sufficient activity. It could be not having a history of working hard physically, but also if they're very sedentary all week. I think finally the last way in which pain can influence your hard work in the gym is if you lead a very sedentary lifestyle. Now, if you're sedentary and then you go to the gym, say 4 times a week, and that is the only activity you do, well, your joints are going to feel horrendous because you've basically sat down all week. You've done nothing. Let's say you sit down, you do 5,000 steps a day, right? Barely above baseline. You do no cardio. And remember, I've been having my cardio push recently. This is for that reason, to get you moving, to get you active. If you just sit still in front of your desk the majority of the week and then go to train like a weekend warrior, you're going to feel a lot of pain because your muscles and joints are just stiff. They're sore. They need warming up. So there are multiple ways in which pain can stop you during a session. So then we move on to the next topic, and that is, what does the research actually say about RAR and RPE and people's ability to accurately track how hard they're working? Now, the results are varied. I think the results are varied because there are confounding factors within these studies that make them less than accurate. So just to give you like a brief background, what they do with RAR studies is they have lab assistants in the test subject's face while they're training, shouting at them, screaming at them, and also asking them how many reps they think they've got to go. And the test subject would shout out 5 more, something like that. And so they would test how accurate that prediction is based on the end of the set. Carry on for another few reps, see how far they get. The problem with that is there is a massive confounding factor. I don't know about you guys, but you ever done a set and you think to yourself when you start the set, I'm aiming for 15. And just so what magically happens is you fail at 15, the very same number you predicted you would get. Have you guys ever experienced that? And you think to yourself, why is that? Well, there is a sort of a self-fulfilling prophecy which happens with these predicted numbers, and they happen all the time. They happen in the gym. They even happen to guys like me. You can really screw yourself if you decide to predict how many reps you can get, because many times you end up failing at that number. So you think to yourself, what happened there? Right? Was I really accurate in predicting, or did I just happen to fail at this nice big round number of 15 or 10 or 12? And that can massively affect these studies, which is why I think there is such a discrepancy in terms of the results. I happen to take favor with the side who say that we're actually not very good at predicting how many reps we have left. So I think unless you are very, very well trained and have experienced a great deal of accuracy when it comes to the rep predictions, I think probably you're not going to be that great at predicting your own reps. So I don't think that's a good thing to rely on, because again, it's all about that subjectivity versus objectivity. And this kind of bleeds into the next point of why I'm not a massive fan of RPE and RAR approaches for beginners or intermediates. I don't even think you guys should be concerned about it. Now, that's not to say anything bad against RAR or RPE approaches. Mike Teixeira, fantastic coach. RAR approach can work for bodybuilding within the confines usually of higher volume routines. But I'm not arguing that point. All I'm saying is, for beginners and intermediates who have not experienced a great deal of success and cannot demonstrate a proven track record of growth, I do not think they need to be focusing on things which are going to reduce their workout intensity. First of all, I think there's a practical concern with RAR. That is, if you're mid-set and you're thinking about how many reps you have left, that's a lot of things to be thinking about in the middle of a set when you're supposed to be working hard. The second thing is the self-fulfilling prophecy. So there's all kinds of reasons why you don't really want to be focusing on RAR and RPE when you're in that position. And as has always been my stance, I never use those approaches with anyone but my most advanced clients, which it can be quite useful for them. So that is my stance on RAR and RPE. Like, I think they're good systems within the confine of the overall system for the right audience. But for the majority of you guys watching, I don't think it's a good idea, because you should be actively finding ways to push harder and not try and find a couple of reps shy from failure. So this takes us on to the main gist of today. What is the solution? What is the solution for you? What is the solution for me? So I think a large part of the solution is self-reflection. And I think you have to start with the premise that you could work harder. This is crucial for everyone. This is why, again, I do not like this whole echo chamber of we're all working hard, high five, fantastic. No. You need to challenge yourself. And today I am challenging you. You need to do some self-reflection, look at some people who train very hard, and look at how they're training. Look at how deep they're taking their sets, and then compare that to what you see when you video yourself, and try to push your intensity while you work out. Actively try and push yourself harder. And when you see a breakthrough, hold on to that for dear life. And that is your new normal. That is how hard you need to work on everything now. Okay. So that's the first thing, self-reflection and trying to push yourself harder. Okay. Now, you see, this is what makes this whole thing a very difficult conversation, because like, it's very difficult in these types of conversations to actually break through unless the other person is willing to listen and willing to introspect. And in my experience with the general population, not my clients, because my clients have a vested interest in me and they listen, but in terms of the general population, and yes, I'm going to call you guys out again, including YouTube, most people are not ready to hear that they don't work hard enough. Most people are a lot happier to hear, yeah, we're all working hard, everybody else doesn't work hard. Like, a lot of people are happier to be tribal than they are to actually introspect and go, yeah, you know what? Next time I go in the gym, I'm going to think about what you said, Faz, and I am going to push myself that little bit harder and see if I can make a breakthrough. It's a lot harder to do that, because it's very difficult to have these conversations, because it can turn into just a situation where you just gaslight people and you say, hey, you're not working hard enough, when they're trying their best. What you guys have to understand is, I would love nothing more than for me to carry on building my audience base with a lot of very self-affirming, high five, we're all on the same team kind of stuff. But the reality is, I want to help you guys. And one of the ways to help you guys is to challenge you to do better, to challenge you to go harder. Because once again, if you've not seen a lot of success in your training, then you must aim to try harder. The discussion of hard work is an extremely difficult one to have. It has to be nuanced, because if you extol the benefits of hard work and everybody in the audience goes, yes, hard work is great, high five, fantastic. Well, there is such a high degree of variability when it comes to objective output versus subjective experience that you don't really help them, because people who think they're working hard are going to think they work hard. People who don't think they work hard, they're not going to learn anything. What you have to do instead is you have to push people to try harder. Don't just celebrate everyone and say, yeah, we're the good guys, we train hard, nobody else does. Actually challenge people to work harder. And I'm challenging all of you to work harder. Your next working set in the gym, push it harder, push it all the way. As long as it's safe to do so, don't stop the point when you can't get another full rep. Go again. Just when you think you're done, try another rep. What's the harm? Assuming you're safe, you have a spotter, it's a machine exercise, try it. What can go wrong? So let's say you get 6 reps and you think to yourself, oof, I've done enough. Well, try the next rep. As long as you're safe, what's the harm? Like, why not try it? You might get it. Great. And try it with the belief that you will get it. So let's say you get another rep. Okay, you've just leveled up. You didn't think you were, but because Faz told you to get another rep, you went out and got it. You leveled up. Congrats. Now take that intensity to everything. When I'm doing a set and I want to really get the most out of it, what I think to myself is, I'm going to take everything I can from this set. I will give no quarter. I will take everything that's mine from this set. I will only leave the bar when I'm happy to leave the bar. You know that classic Kurt Kowalski, I want to hold it. That's my mentality.
I want to hold it. I want to hold it.
That's what I want you to feel like when you do your next set. Keep a hold of that goddamn bar until you are good and ready to let go of it. And when you think you can't get another rep, just try. You might make it. But the point is, if you don't try, you won't know. You'll carry on assuming you're working hard enough, you're working the hardest you can. You won't actively challenge yourself. So you must continuously challenge yourself to aim to work harder. None of us, all of us watching this video, including me, we can't just sit back and go, you know what, I work hard as it is. We should be actively challenging ourselves, even me, because as you get older, the body changes the scenario. So I'm going to call it there. Do you like the video? Subscribe if you haven't done so already. Hit the bell notification if you have already subscribed. And if you'd like to discuss coaching, there is a link in the description. But I do sincerely hope that video was helpful to you, because I think it's a difficult topic to discuss because all of our experiences are just so subjective. But either way, you must try and push yourself harder. It is absolutely crucial in the endeavor that we're focusing on here, which is muscle growth. Right. Peace out, guys. All the best.